Hey guys, and welcome back to the Asgardian News Network. And today, the long overdue review of James Bond No Time to Die, the most recent installment and last installment of the Daniel Craig 007 James Bond franchise here. Now, right off the bat, first thing I want to say is one, I'm probably one of the biggest James Bond fans I know personally. I think I probably watched all the movies at the time by the age of like 8, maybe 7, probably something along those lines. And if you probably went back to myself in kindergarten or first grade and said, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer probably would have been James Bond. No doubt in my mind. Now, granted, I'll admit my taste has changed a little since then. I would not follow that up with my favorite Bond movie is Die Another Day, because it's one of the worst James Bond movies ever made. But that being said, I do think No Time to Die is probably up there in the Daniel Craig movies. Obviously better than Spectre. That just wasn't a fantastic movie. It just didn't love it. Didn't really strike a chord with me. Definitely not quite as good as Skyfall. Better than Quantum Solace. And in that contention of maybe it could be considered second over Casino Royale, but to me, not really, just because I love Casino Royale so much. It's really kind of right in that middle point of kind of fits in there, might, but might not. But overall, it was probably the best send-off for Daniel Craig that he possibly could have had. The one of my favorite things about this movie that it really showcased very well was how much growth his characters really had since from Casino Royale to now the end of his series, and that was something I really loved. I don't want them to do it again with the next Bond. Have a series where each movie really ties into the next, and they're all really interconnected, intertwined, and you see significant character growth and development from them. I really think they hit it out of the park with this, which is what they need to do for a reboot. They need something completely different, something completely fresh, and just to change up the overall franchise, which they desperately needed after the end of the Pierce Brosnan series. And I thought it was fantastic, and I really loved the development from, cold-blooded, killer, kind of still motion, ladies man to this guy is a real person, and you can kind of relate to him and understand where he's coming from, and it's not just so black and white like with plenty of the older Bond movies. Now, one of the things this movie definitely struggled with No Time to Die here is an identity crisis. It so badly wants to continue the style that we've had of all the Daniel Craig movies so far, but they really let things go when it comes to the old style movies with gadgets and just weird inventions and things that they're using and to complete their mission. Just that's the kind of stuff that they really tried to stay away from all throughout the Daniel Craig series. Now, I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing, but it was this constant back and forth battle of trying to modernize the character, have that here, but at the same time trying to go ahead and bring in all this old style like Roger Moore kind of gadgety things into the series, which was good. And I think Daniel Craig is a guy who can pull that off very well, especially looking in through most of his works. Most recently, I'd say Knives Out, fantastic job in that role. But definitely a guy who can pull that kind of, I'll say slapstick comedy that you got to see in the past, pull it off in a better modern fashion, be able to still do that very well, which I think he did fantastically. Rami Malek's villain was pretty good. I don't think it was the best of the series, but I think it was a pretty solid villain. He clearly, was just born to be a Bond villain. It's just the way he looks. Which I think he said years ago before he was even cast to be in No Time to Die. But I thought he did a very good job, and I enjoyed his character overall. But definitely for me, this was definitely top 3 of the Daniel Craig movies, and just helps solidify why Daniel Craig is the best James Bond out of all of them. And that's really big to say, especially to me, just because, I mean, Sean Connery's classic, but you start diving into those movies and they're all not winners, and overall it just wasn't fantastic. Roger Moore, to me, holds a special place in my heart for those movies. Those were some of the most iconic movies to me, especially growing up. But they're a little bit too much. They're a little bit too much. I don't love him as Bond. Timothy Dalton, I really need to give those movies a rewatch, because those movies are some of my least favorite movies. Honestly, I will give them a rewatch, but I would put them almost below Die Another Day. They're just that disliked to me. George Lazenby, I'm not gonna really talk about. I don't like him that much. To me, he's not really a Bond. I don't like his whole background, his whole story about how he became Bond. It's just not it for me. Just not it for me. I know a lot of people love his movie, but it's just not it for me. Pierce Brosnan is Bond that I really loved. GoldenEye is definitely one of my favorite Bond movies of all time, and I think he nailed the character very well. And I don't think a lot of the mistakes that were made by the series, especially in movies like Die Another Day, and I keep mentioning it, a lot of the mistakes made in that movie really were not his fault. I don't think. I think it was fault direction and MGM, the studio, overall pushing where they wanted the franchise to go, but it didn't really go in the direction that I think they're hoping. Now, I know a lot of people hate The World's Not Enough, but every time I watch it, I really enjoy the movie and like the movie. But Daniel Craig, overall, I look back at all the Bonds, and he just nailed it straight out of the gate. Casino Royale is easily top 5 Bond movie for me, I would say. I love Casino Royale. Quantum Solace, even for being a low point of the series, is a lot better than other Bond movies. And of course, that was with the ongoing writer strike too, which is amazing to me that movie is as decent as it is with everything going on. Skyfall, of course, is just classic, very well done. Spectre, I would say that's the lowest point of the series, my least favorite movie. And then No Time to Die was an awesome send-off. I loved it. And honestly, too, I know a lot of people don't really like Billie Eilish, but in the context of the movie, her song was one of my favorite Bond songs, and I thought it played the series very, very well. Overall, I really liked it. It's top 3 in the series. I would maybe throw it in a top 10 for Bond films all time. But I thought it was very good. Definitely had some identity crisis issues of, trying to tie in so much of the old stuff with bringing in new stuff. But we'll see. I'm very curious to see where the franchise is going to go from here. My personal bet is I would love for Richard Madden to be James Bond. We'll see how busy he is with Eternals, of course, coming up. But of course, future Marvel projects along with that. But I think he is one of the best options when it comes to a lesser known actor, not super mainstream, not in absolutely everything, being brought in as Bond, and someone who is also relatively young too, which gives you an opportunity for 5, 6, maybe 7 films. So you get a lot of life out of him and a lot of content out of him as well. And just, I think he could pull it off very well. So again, I'm also curious what you guys thought of No Time to Die. I thought it was a fantastic movie. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button. And of course, if you haven't already by now, and this isn't your first video watching, hit that subscribe button. We'll keep you up to date. Marvel, James Bond, whatever you want. Thinking about doing a review, a little breakdown of You Season 3. Loved the season. Kind of I was pretty intrigued in the direction that they took. Not too happy where it absolutely ended, but I definitely think was a pretty decent step from Season 2. But guys, go ahead and let me know what else you want to see in the future. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.